You've waited,
Dun, dun, dun.
and it's time for BTS.
It is the BTS episode. We've been putting a lot of thought into this episode. We're excited to go through what we have to share today. Supermatic, what's on the agenda?
We are going to be taking a look at the double shot of releases from the Bangtan Boys themselves. We are going to look at Spring Day and Not Today.
Right. So it's a long episode. We want you to stay with us throughout the entire journey. But we want to make this an interactive journey.
Yes.
As a listener, we have one challenge for you. And that is, throughout this entire show, ask yourself, does BTS show that K-pop can be art?
Keep that question in mind.
Does BTS demonstrate the potential for K-pop to be art? Let us know if you agree or disagree.
Yep.
And that way, we'll come to the end. We'll see where we arrive. Kicking it off, it's Spring Day.
Yep. The more ballady and emotional track from BTS.
So the K-pop show does a great job, I think, in breaking down a lot of the metaphors. I think a lot of their interpretations are spot on, but I think one thing that I opine we haven't yet discussed on this music video is the temporality of what is going on. This takes place in a timeline, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If we look at the train line, I think that represents that line of time.
Ooh.
Okay. And it's a journey. Now, everyone is talking about the ones who walk away from Omeless, and that book has got to be getting a rise in sales right now from BTS fans.
Definitely.
So whoever created this music video must have read that in high school, and they're like, dude, I got to direct a story around this. And lo and behold, BTS, which is another way that BTS is creating art. They're referencing another artist in a way that adds meaning to their own. So Omeless is a motel.
Yes.
Which looks like, in my opinion, youth. We've seen a lot of other music videos, a lot of other releases from BTS. This is an item for a separate discussion, but each of those other music videos, and I misinterpreted this is my fault, the first time we looked at Blood, Sweat, Tears, that's a fall from grace. That's coming of age, of maturity. That's, falling from the comfort of your mother, which we see in the embrace, and falling from the heavens, as we see with the Lucifer wings coming to earth.
Interesting.
And this is all a sign of maturity. It's original sin, if you will, in terms of gaining that knowledge and knowing the difference between what's good and bad. So we see a lot of that in everything BTS. And this latest music video, Spring Day, is just the next step of that for the group as a whole. So the Seawolf Ferry accident. A lot of fans have said, like, there may be some way that this is related to Spring Day. I think it's highly likely. If you look at Big Hit and BTS and what they did for the affected families, I think they were inspired by this national tragedy. We see the member with the pink hair at the beginning, Jimin,
yes,
or in the trailers, teasers, right, as well as in different parts in this music video, where his lips are faded. He's very pale.
Yes.
And it's contrasted with the rich saturation and warmth of his other members, right? So we're truly trying to show this guy is dead. He's passed on. Another interesting thing, he's by the shore, right? I think this is them trying to show this is a soul which was passed off from the Seawolf Ferry, and he has his shoes. He's carrying shoes. If you look closely, he carries shoes throughout the entire music video.
That's true.
From beginning to end. And we see at the beginning, at the seashore.
Yeah.
And those shoes represent a life that was cut short. Okay? Let's make sure we're clear on that point, because this is going to carry throughout the rest of the music video. What would you do if one of your best friends passed on?
I'd be devastated. I'm not sure what I would do, like, at least not right away.
Yeah, you would feel the sense of longing.
Yeah.
I would even say the sense of melancholy.
Definitely.
for wanting to be back together with your friend.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not condoning this in any way, for the record, to be clear, but this leads many people to suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we see this at the very beginning of Spring Day.
Yeah.
So a member, he puts his head down to the train in a very deliberate fashion. Like he's not accidentally falling into this linear passage of time.
Mm-mm.
He's placing himself there to die, to commit suicide. So why is it a linear passage of time, Peter? Well, we see each of the members travel on this train to reach their end destination at their own pace.
Mm.
Some lives are cut short, and they are already there. And for those of us left behind, we are left feeling alone.
Yeah.
From those of Omelas,
Mm-hmm.
it's, again to recap, it's the story of a utopia. Utopia can mean many things to different people, but what kept this dark society, this is something I love about cyberpunk. You get this a lot in cyberpunk. Like you ever see Psychopaths, like how like they have this great society, but it turns out it's actually run by this evil thing.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with, from those of Omelas, right? So to keep this actual utopia society running, there's actually a dark thing keeping it afloat.
Yeah.
And that is this child, which harbors all the original sin
Mm-hmm.
from all of its citizens. It's almost like The Giver. I mean, there's so many other utopia stories, right? So
this child, he's like kept by himself, isolated in like some dark corner of Omulus, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
That's right. How BTS references that literary work
Mm-hmm.
and adapts it to their own tale, they do it slightly differently. Again, everything BTS has been a sign of maturity, coming of age, evolving out of youth.
For sure.
The Seawolf Fairy, these are poor kids who had their lives cut short at their youth. For those of us who are carrying on, we are carrying our own selves on into maturity. We're becoming adults.
Mm-hmm.
The Omelas Motel represents that youth.
Oh.
It is that moment in time when we were all together. Now, this is another common trope and cliche that we see in a lot of filmmaking, as we use often mirrors to show a reflection of ourselves and our introspection. Another cliche, and BTS uses it here. I'm not blaming them for using cliche. I think it's a really good way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But they use flames and candles.
Yeah, for sure.
To show the longevity of life and how it's counting down. And so, in the motel of Omlis, this utopia where everyone is together, that's the one time when everyone's together. It is a fleeting moment.
Mm.
And we see this with many of them looking very sad and tragically at their candles, at their matchsticks.
Oh, wow.
All within Omlis, right?
Yeah.
And there's a few members who want to hold on to this moment.
Jungkook for one.
Which one is he? Sorry,
he's the main one. Like he's the one that we see on the train, and like he's the one who sits in the hotel in Omulus after everyone else has fallen asleep. He's the one we see whose candle seems to burn out first, and then all of a sudden it quickly reverts back, and his candle is relit once again. Yeah.
So he wants to hold on to that moment.
Yeah.
He wants to hold on to that youth. But that time is fleeting, and you can't hold on to it forever. We all got to grow, right? And so it may seem to him that like this was the prime time of our lives and now it's gone. You see him show him wanting to hold on to this moment in several ways, right?
Yeah.
So taking photos.
Actually, there's two of them who make the reference. I don't know if we actually see any actual cameras in this MV, but there are two members who make the reference where they do the framing with their hands.
That's exactly what I was going to say, yeah.
Jungkook is one of them. The other one is Jin.
Okay. So remember, and frankly, for the storytelling purposes and for the symbolism, I don't think it really matters who. Mm-hmm. But we see them wanting to hold on and to capture this moment forever. Yes. Mm-hmm. They want to hold on to this moment, right? If you know that time is fleeting, if you know that this is only a temporary moment in time, like what are you going to do to remember this? You want to capture it, right? And you see these guys looking on this in different ways. One of them smiles at the candle because he's like, if I can only hold on to this moment.
Definitely.
Right. And this is where all the fangirls like fangasm over all these boys cuddling together, right? Obligatory like fangirl stuff. So they're together, and then we see them separate. Right now we have one of the members trying to retrace this, right? He's trying to run through all these scenes again.
Yeah.
Remember we see Omeless?
Yes.
Empty.
Yeah.
Like,
and the sign is flashing, no vacancy. That sign was off. We didn't even see the sign at first when all of them were together.
Right. Well, I think the first time, I think it says no vacancy both times, but the way it flashes, I think, means different things. So the way we see it the first time when when it has a higher color saturation, it has a sense of warmth, community, like, hey, all my pals are here. Let's all get together in this utopia. Omeless, right? Later, it's because everyone has passed on. They've matured. So they're no longer in their youth. But different people mature at different rates.
That's right.
So we have one member on top of the train.
J-Hope.
You know, he's throwing his paper plane. He's moving forward, right?
Yep.
We have another member walking along the train tracks.
That would be V.
So taking a much slower pace to maturity. There are many paths, right? We all take our own pace through life.
Yeah.
But we're all going to get there together in the end. And we see, again, going back to the suicide at the beginning, some people just want to get there to be reunited with their friends.
Yeah.
Especially for those of us who we know were taken from us prematurely with issues. One last thing, going back to wanting to hold on to those moments, there's a few more clues we see on that. When they're in the laundromat.
Yeah.
And the clothes are tumbling. It's a moment, right, that you think is going to keep turning. But he has to put in a quarter.
Yeah.
To keep it going.
Yeah, that's right.
This is just a fleeting moment, and he wants to hold on to it. That's right. He's just gonna I'm gonna give it just a little more gas, just a little bit more money to keep it going. We see just for a brief second, right, the guy who died carrying his shoes again, looking. Right. He's like, I'll be here when you get there.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, these guys are together. This is your youth. The entire story is a spring day.
That's
but
right.
what season is this music video?
It takes place in a cold, harsh winter.
That's right. So it is the chapter of their youth, or maybe it's this middle ground. Maybe the youth was summer. Whatever, right? I don't think it really matters. The point is, toward the end, we see the cherry blossoms because they've matured.
That's right.
So where one season ends, where your youth ends, your maturity begins.
That's right. Like a cherry blossom tree that's starting to blossom in spring.
That's right. So it's not the end, moving on to mature and adapt. The pile of clothes. Yeah. Much like dry cleaning in my room, which I forget. I neglect, right? It's like there are times where, you wore this in your youth. It was fashionable for a time, and then you kind of stop wearing it and you toss it aside and you leave it there. It can feel like it's discarded and left behind, just like those of us who have not yet matured with all of our other friends who have moved on. But in the end, just like the Linkin Park song, in the end, we will all get there.
That's right.
And so that's why we see at the very end of Spring Day, all of the members on the heap of clothes. So at that time, you could feel like you're the one left behind, but in the end, we will all get there and we will all move on to that new chapter of our lives together. So the beginning, the guy who commits suicide, who passes on, he catches up with all his other friends who have passed on, who are also on the train to reach that end destination. And at the very end, we are reunited with our other friend who has been taken prematurely.
That's right.
From the Seawolf Ferry accident, right? And his youth, represented through the shoes, is finally put to rest.
Yeah.
At the end tree.
They hang it over a branch.
And the tree, I don't necessarily see as the final permanent end. I don't think there is a final permanent end in this music video, but rather it's the end of just one chapter.
Yeah.
Be it our mortal lives, whatever. And we all carry on into this new field.
Wow.
And that is the temporal story of Spring Day. Throughout this feeling of being disconnected from your friends, from those who have matured before us or have carried on or passed away before us, there's this agonizing sense of being separated.
Yeah.
And we feel that in the music of this song. It's just this like repeating guitar and synth that we hear throughout the entire song, from the very beginning after the very first piano chord, which carries through in growing volume and weight until the end. And I just take that to mean that this is just a very beautiful melancholy.
Yeah.
And that's the phrase I'd use to describe Spring Day. It's
I would agree.
Beautiful melancholy.
Yeah.
It's painful knowing that you may be separated from your friends from this time, but you will regroup with them in the end. Maybe you will catch up with them through the different rates at which we mature and grow through our, individual lives. Like you can be behind, you can run and catch up with your friends.
Yeah.
And as we see with the members of BTS, they're running down the hall and then they get almost interrupted by the train passing in front of them.
Yep.
From their friend who committed suicide.
Yeah.
Because he's already moved on. So he's already reached that end destination. So this entire song was just very poetic for me.
You're honestly kind of blowing my mind with your take on it, Peter. Very interesting.
So that's my take. And this is art, man.
For sure.
I wrote a paper in college saying that, like, there's this subgenre of art called kitsch. So, like, I'm mispronouncing it because I can't say it right. It's originally a German phrase, but it's Kitsch.
Oh.
Okay? And what it means is, are you, like, into anime?
Yeah.
Okay. You know how there's, like, a lot of, like, gratuitous boobs or, like, sundry tropes?
Yep.
These are things without real artistic meaning. But they're thrown in, and I think we often see at anime conventions a lot of people portraying this stuff as art.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
If you're familiar with Thomas Kincaid paintings, they're usually like these like cottages, and in a dark wintry environment, and a lot of people buy them under the pretense of trying to appeal for the sake of having something highbrow in their homes, but really are nothing and are just a commercial commodity. Right, that's their end goal, to be something of commerce.
Kind of like a novelty item.
Yeah. And often something that people, want to buy to make them feel happy with art, but there is no art content there to be given.
Yeah.
I argued in my college paper that, you know what, that may be true with kitsch. But if it makes people happy, so be it. So the reason why I cover K-pop as a whole, because there's a shit ton of kitsch.
For sure.
Right? We have Aegyo. We have girls going like TT. These are things that don't have to have a profound meaning. And it makes people happy. But this stuff, with BTS, this is art.
For sure.
And it brings just a new level of emotional being and connection that forces you to feel something.
I agree. Definitely.
Yeah. So obviously I'm a fan of Spring Day. That was the story that I was interpreting from this music video.
So for me, when I was watching Spring Day, it took me quite a few, like definitely more than one viewing, because I was doing my best to analyze every little thing I could. And one of the takeaways I immediately had, actually, or one of the things that I noticed more, to your point of how the hotel could represent like maturity, and when they had these fleeting moments together as a group, I actually noticed, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but I want to say it was, that there were a few callbacks to previous songs and music videos that BTS has done.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly those that are part of the Most Beautiful Moment in Life saga.
Yep.
Videos like Run and I Need You.
Yep.
Because you touched on the whole, like the Polaroid, the framing that Jungkook and Jimin do.
This is a very deliberate part of the ongoing story for BTS.
Yes.
And as a consumer of this content, I was able to fully enjoy Spring Day without this legacy of knowledge and understanding, right?
Yeah.
But for BTS fans who have been through it from the beginning,
since day one,
this means a lot more.
Yes.
Because it is a constant journey.
Mm-hmm.
For us who are getting into this late in the game, it's like we're picking up book 3.
Yeah.
rather than starting at book 1.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Like, that's a perfect way to word it. For those who have been following BTS and those who have seen the videos of I Need You, Run, Danger, even, like, just this whole storyline and this journey, as you said, that BTS has been taking us on with them, I really like what you said about the hotel being those fleeting moments at the same time, like how the candles and things, they represent maturity and how those moments in time don't entirely last.
It's the inevitability of end of life.
Yes.
But
right.
the Omelette Hotel as a whole represents, like, this would make another good, like, sci-fi novel or anime. Like, it represents that time that they were able to freeze.
Yes.
And right, and it's like it exists in a different dimension, right?
Yes.
Where they're able to stay in that moment forever.
Mm-hmm. They have those moments that are very similar to scenes in previous MVs, such as I Need You, because I remember there's a very specific scene in I Need You where they're in, like, sort of an apartment or a hotel, and they're doing just shenanigans. They're having a fun time all together as a group, much like they do in that moment here in Spring Day. But then at the end, they all fall asleep, and one of the things is that Jungkook lets a match in his hand burn out.
Yeah.
And at the end of that scene,
well, he
Need You.
he accepts.
Yes.
You know, the temperance of his life, or it could be just that chapter of his youth. He's like, you know what? I'm the last person here.
Right.
Everyone else has moved on. It's time for me to grow up.
Yeah. And then there's also another callback too, because in the I Need You video, there's a scene where we see J-Hope in the bathroom looking in the mirror, and his right hand, he punches the mirror first, and then he opens it to grab these pills, and he takes pills. And this happens in the I Need You video. And the Spring Day video, it's very quick. It's one of those blink and you'll miss it moments.
Yeah.
But we see him again standing in that mirror, and he's like, he has his hand on the mirror, but then he takes it off and he looks at it almost as if it's like reflective, like J-Hope is reflecting on the mistakes he made.
Is another filmmaking trope.
I Need You.
Yes.
Yeah.
Using the mirror for introspection. But yes, you're right.
So just all these callbacks, and it was definitely a nice touch, especially for me being one of those people that has followed this storyline, because BTS debuted in 2013. I didn't catch on to them in 2014, so I did my homework fast and I caught on to this saga.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just there's so many different layers and subtleties to the message that they're trying to convey to us. And the thing for me is that it's funny, you know, usually you and I, when we're reviewing a song like this, we usually simplify, we break it down, we look at it in terms of the song itself, we look at the concept of the music video.
Yeah.
And sometimes we tend to, right away, we evaluate the song first.
Yeah.
For me, I chose to look at the video and the concept and the story overall before I looked at the song, because I felt like the song...
So much is lost if you're, especially as an English listener.
Yes.
Listening to the audio alone.
Yes.
And while there are some things that you can only enjoy, that could be enjoyed just for its audio alone, with the case of Spring Day, you are missing like 80% of the package.
Yeah, definitely.
So...
Because Spring Day overall, as I believe, actually, Nick from the Bias List, I don't have the full quote, but he said that Spring Day is just one full cinematic experience.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really appreciate the song itself unless you watch the video, and when you watch the video, you appreciate the song more. Totally. It's a full cinematic experience. It sounds like something you'd hear in a movie,
right? And
then when you watch it, you understand why.
Exactly. We touched on this a few weeks ago with Cheryl of the Drama Candy podcast.
Yes.
Where we took a look at a OST. And the big selling factor for these OSTs are the nostalgia.
Yep.
So it's cashing in on all those feelings that you had with that story.
Absolutely.
And the song is that earworm like emotion to convey that meaning to you. And that, my friends, is art.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it brings those feelings back. I was listening to the our giveaway album.
Ah, yes.
I was listening to it, and when Spring Day came on again, like I had a little bit of those stings of feeling again, right? Bringing back in everything that I took away, that I emotionally took away from the music video, but it wasn't the same. And it also had a different context in terms of how it was juxtaposed in the album.
I see.
Like what's being played before and after it. That was also very deliberate in terms of how they're arranging.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a different way of consuming the experience.
Yeah, for sure.
You get different feelings and different nuances and different feelings depending on how the art is consumed.
Mm-hmm.
But I think maybe if I'm reading this right, I feel like you and I both feel like the music video is the best way to take it in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the song itself for me, definitely. I mean, after analyzing it, diving deep, and especially was watching the video and doing my best, at least, to put these pieces together and interpreting them how I can, or as best as I can, the song just held so much more weight with me too, because I looked into the lyrics as well, because I was like, wait, there's something I'm missing here. I don't know what the lyrics are saying. I can pick out some phrases because of how much K-pop I listen to, but I need to know what they're saying. And one of the phrases that is constant throughout this song, especially during the chorus on the refrain, is when they keep saying the words "bogo shipta," which translates to "I miss you."
Yeah.
I miss you. Like that, just those three little words, they carry so much weight throughout the whole song, and especially throughout the whole video, when you know and you realize what it all means.
Yeah, yeah. As I mentioned earlier, look, this is a painful melancholy.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a song I would normally go out of my way to listen to.
Yeah.
Before the show today, you were almost shocked. Like,
yes.
You want to cover Spring Day, Peter Lowe? I thought you hate that stuff.
Yeah, like this is normally not your cup of tea.
That's right. But I cannot divorce the meaning of the music video with the audio consumption experience I get. Right? Because every time I hear the audio, I can't help but feel these feelings conveyed from the concept.
Yeah.
So I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
It felt, again, just that weaving throughout the entire thing. That's going to stay with me for some time.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
This is the song I am going to lay down and die to. Maybe not something that tragic.
Yeah.
But this is a song for those moments of introspection, for those long rides on the train when you're looking into the sunset.
Absolutely.
Just like in the music video.
For sure. Like just different perspectives. This is one of those songs that will just be like that whole soundtrack to those moments.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. I'm not going to be playing it in my DJ sets.
Oh, I'm not expecting you to.
Right. People aren't going to dance to this song. This is the song people stop and they cry to.
Yeah.
So maybe for more of the radio, like Big B radio sort of stuff, but not for the club gigs.
It's actually interesting because a lot of people were saying, because with Spring Day being the more ballady and emotional, more vulnerable side of BTS, with how lately they have this trend of doing double releases. They'll do the ballad and then they'll do the straight up banger track.
Yeah.
Like previously they did Dope I Need You, they did Fire and Save Me, and now here's Spring Day, and then Not Today. Spring Day actually does have choreo to it. If you go and watch any of BTS's live performances for Spring Day, it's actually really interesting because they threw a heavy contemporary element into it. And one thing about the contemporary art of dance that they really say is throw yourself into it, because what contemporary is supposed to do is to be emotional and mental healing for you for whatever it is that is stressing you out or any negative vibes.
Man.
So pairing that with the message of what Spring Day as a song and video is, you can only imagine.
Yeah. I think another takeaway from BTS that we want to hammer on this episode is that nothing is done by accident.
Absolutely.
With BTS, Big Hit, everything is very deliberate.
Yes.
So from every detail.
Good job, Big Hit and BTS. Like, you're just, oh man, you're throwing us for so many different loops and catching our feelings, and we're not entirely sure 100% how to take it all in.
I'm going to say something a little sacrilegious here. Big Bang does not even do this.
Ooh, you love Big Bang. This coming from a VIP?
Yeah. So Big Bang does a lot of really fun stuff, right? In terms of, here's a really cool and conventional sound for audio, right? GD does a lot of great stuff in terms of pushing the ballot for a subgenre of music that typically isn't heard in K-pop.
Yeah.
Great job, GD. We get see a lot of really fun, wacky, colorful concepts from Big Bang. Do they mean shit? they do mean one thing, at least for each, concept on the surface, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely a lot of funny double entendres, like that are usually like sexual innuendos, but nothing to the deliberate and poetic and comprehensive storytelling effort as BTS.
Ooh, dang. I think that's actually considerably high praise coming from someone who I know for a fact is a VIP and has been a long time VIP.
Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I still love Big Bang.
Absolutely.
As I said earlier, in my college paper, I love kitsch.
Yes.
Okay? You can enjoy that stuff. There is nothing wrong with being happy with your Thomas Kincaid paintings in your living room. Okay? If that makes you happy, so be it. So, no hating on that.
Absolutely.
But because I have fallen from grace and I have tasted the forbidden fruit,
Yes.
I now know how much better this stuff tastes. And I am going to keep tasting this caviar.
That's a good way to put it. Not today. Have you ever watched Lord of the Rings or read Lord of the Rings? I know where you're going with this. Aragorn's speech, Return of the King.
At the Black Gates.
At the Black Gates of Mordor.
That's right. Yes. So, for those of you who are familiar with Lord of the Rings, why aren't you familiar with Lord of the Rings?
I think I know where you're going with this.
It's a classic case of good versus evil. You have to know these things, just be with it in pop culture.
Yeah. Rapmon's opening line, right? Before they start.
Just really the entire theme of the entire song.
Definitely.
There is a scene in the books and in the film, and it's practically an internet meme for the speech that is given.
Yes.
The last king of the Knights of Men,
Aragorn. Yes.
Is giving an empowered speech to
the men
very
of Gondor,
few remaining men who are about to die, right? And they represent the very last hope. And they are far outnumbered. They're like doomed to die. What hope do they have?
Right.
Aragorn gives this very impassioned speech where he says, look, the day will come, right?
When we all lose, pretty much.
Yes.
Like he says it very poetically about like broken swords, shattered shields.
A day may come when the courage of men fails, when we forsake our friends and break all bonds of fellowship. But it is not this day. An hour of wolves and shattered shields when the age of men comes crashing down. But it is not this day. This day we fight.
A day will come when all these things will come to pass. But it is not this day. And then he goes through another case and he keeps underscoring, but it is not this day, right? We are not going to give into this. That's what this song is.
Yep.
And if you paid attention, again, BTS, nothing by accident.
Absolutely.
The choreographer,
Keone Madrid.
If you know anything about this choreographer,
yes,
he was very deliberate in what he was trying to tell with the choreography. And he had a very strong message to tell in this song.
Absolutely.
If you haven't paid attention to the news at large, a lot of people are feeling like this is an administration that doesn't represent us.
Yep.
Well, I understand that it's not everyone. For many people, not just Americans, but other people, citizens of the world, they feel like, well, we aren't going to give in to these basic, instincts. We need to preserve these values that we have.
Yeah.
This is our resistance. That is the song.
It's also very timely too, because within Korea themselves, they're going through some kind of political turmoil, and the citizens themselves have taken it upon themselves.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up.
In fact, they're using K-pop and as their way of demonstrating and protesting. So this song is very timely.
Hey man, if we could play this song, fantastic, baby.
Yes.
And Sixth Sense,
Yes.
by Brown Eyed Girls. That's the soundtrack of rebellion.
Exactly.
So take note, protesters.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you touched on the choreographer as well, who is Keone Madrid from here in the U.S., because he has worked with BTS before.
Yeah.
If you watch Not Today and you're someone somewhat new to BTS, or if you know their previous works, or you're like, oh, the choreography for Not Today, this dance is so powerful, so energetic, it looks familiar, it feels familiar, you might be wondering, oh, maybe that's just because it's BTS and I'm used to that. Well, Keone previously made the choreography for Fire, and before that he made the choreography for Dope.
Yeah.
So this is the third time that Keone has collaborated with BTS and made choreography for one of their banger tracks.
Right. In terms of the story for Not Today,
Yeah.
I think they were deliberate and try not to overload it.
Yeah.
We had just a little too much for our hearts to handle
Yeah.
for Spring Day.
There was so much packed into that. Like Spring Day is definitely the deeper, more like just full on, like so many different things to take. But that said, I think Not Today contains a little story within itself as well, because at the start of the video, we see BTS and their ninja army running either away from something or towards something or somewhere.
Right.
And then Jungkook, again, he's at the front of the pack. Everyone else gets shot except for him.
Yeah.
And again, towards the end of the video, we see that and we see him turn around in this look of fear, like, oh man, all his comrades are dead. And the camera pans in and we see, like, it pans into his eye, and it seems like he's looking at a reflection of himself standing among all his dead comrades.
Yeah.
And then the video just ends there. So it's like they gave us kind of a hint at a story, but we're left with more questions than answers.
Sure. And maybe this is the tease for the next chapter of BTS, right? And I don't want to dive into that right now. But for the sake of standing alone for this story, I think it conveyed that feeling and that emotion. That emotion of protest and resistance.
Yep.
And this is not a happy song. It is not a, wow, fantastic, baby.
Nah.
This is a very angry song. And you hear it in different ways.
Yeah, it's very powerful. It comes out with that raw, aggressive, like angry tone, as you said. And the lyrics too is like, everybody to like, or no, we won't give up, today we will survive, all those things. And then this has made waves across the internet already. It's become a meme of itself. Every time right before they get into the chorus, you hear that phrase, that chong jujun basa, which translates to ready, aim, fire. It's like, we've been holding back, now it's time to just open up, like.
Yeah, I don't condone violence.
Of course not.
I mean, if they are arguing for violence, I can't say that I support that. But I think maybe a nicer way to take this is don't passively take this in. Yeah. It's time to act.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, rise up, which is what a lot of people have been saying about this track. Like, this is pretty much BTS's call to arms. This is their anthem about rising up and not giving up.
Right. Maybe, and this is just occurring to me, where we see all the fallen comrades, maybe that's a sign of what happens if you don't act.
Oh, good point.
Right?
Good
point. It's seen through the eye, and it's like, this is what happened, this is what I wish I did. Or maybe, like, this did happen, this is what we have to do. Yep. With my ninja army. One day I will become Hokage. Because there are a lot of scenes where you see them all running, and I was half expecting them to have their arms behind them.
Oh, running like they do Naruto. In the Naruto anime. Yeah. Which in itself is just such a meme.
Yeah.
But on the note of the ninja army, I do want to point out and highlight one thing I really, really liked about what they did here for the Not Today video. Yeah. And tying in together with the choreography. We've seen BTS before have these dope sequences where they're doing the choreography, but a lot of times, most of the dance will be just the group, and then it's not until like somewhere towards the end where they get backup dancers. Throughout this whole video, BTS is backed up by the ninja army. Yep. There's very few moments where it's just BTS doing the dance.
That's true.
And I really like the way they utilize the ninja army.
Is that the BTS army?
Nice, clever.
Bulletproof? I guess not. They get shot, so maybe not. But
there's one moment on the second verse where Rapmon starts off, and we see just him like moving back and forth while the ninjas or their ninja army is in a solid line. And at first you think, oh, where's the rest of BTS? But if you look closely, you can kind of see they're like hiding behind the ninja army, and then like they kick their way through and they come in. So even just like using those moments where the ninjas themselves, they're used to highlight BTS. It's just, I like this idea. And I thought about it. I was like, maybe the reason why BTS is never really separated from the ninjas is because it ties into the theme of Not Today, which is this unity, this group.
Interesting.
And one thing that's also been highlighted as well, that there's the scene where they end up in the desert, and then all of a sudden it seems like they stopped on the way to do this war dance on CG ice, computer generated ice. Like, I can't tell if that's ice or a platform that they're on. It looks like ice at first.
A platform of some kind,
But it looks like something close to ice or glass. But it's really cool. It's a circular platform, and especially when you get that aerial drone shot of seeing BTS and this group of like 30 to 40 people just all in sync, in unison, doing this tight, awesome formation of choreography.
One of my small technical critiques to this is that when you get a number of that many people, I don't know, maybe it's me as like a former dancer that I noticed like those guys in the back their timing isn't right. Like, I know why they were put in the back, because they're the less skilled dancers. Like, I can see this, and it's like, well, with the exception of the one scene when they're top down and you see the very clean lines, that was good, right? But other than that, there were a number of times where I'm looking at it and I'm like, those guys in the back aren't doing it right.
That's fine. Like, I totally understand. Like, other dancers will probably watch this and they won't be able to help but nitpick. I mean, I'm a dancer too, so I know it, I feel it. But just the overall idea and like the picture of it, like this BTS army, they're all together and like they're doing this dance, this choreography is just, it falls in with the message, and I feel like it really complemented the song well.
Right, the meaning of the core meaning of the song.
Yeah.
Right. I think when a lot of people look at the dance, they see a really cool theatrical performance.
Yes.
For me as a K-pop DJ, I cannot see the same thing that everyone else sees, because when I look at that dance, I see all the upcoming amateur dance teams who are going to try to cover that and do it wrong. Because this is a very hard choreography, and it's fast, and a lot of people are going to get it wrong. And that's what I see as a DJ. It's like, I know exactly what's going to happen with this song, and I can't not but see that.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to Sony One and Choreos to getting it right.
Likewise, we'll see if any other teams cover it. Yeah. Maybe KDC, maybe Pandora, Parang, like all these teams that I know like, in the area. We'll see. Yeah. Maybe they'll take it upon themselves to rise up to your challenge.
One can hope. So shots are fired. People die at the end of this.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah. I don't think there's much more that we need to take away from this.
Definitely not.
You know, like all good rebellions, it starts in a garage. A parking garage. Like, which in itself, oh, come on, guys. Like, this is another like very cliche trope.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because you referenced the garage, and a lot of people pointed this out, and I also noticed it, or at least I felt it, too, is that we couldn't help but wonder if that was the same garage that they filmed Danger in, or if it just happens to be a similar looking garage. But
who knows? I mean, like, there are times when they're on the roof, and I was like, is that the same roof that Monster X shot on?
Oh.
Like, Hero is like, is that the same set? Are those the same stairs? Are these at some point, you know, it's fine. Like, you got to accept that some people are recycling the same props and sets. But if you work in Hollywood, you see that everywhere. It's like, oh, or if you work in LA, it's like, I know 5 commercials that were shot right here. So
right. Sometimes sets are recycled, but hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah. So let's just take it for what it is in its isolation.
Absolutely.
And it was good for what it was, even if it is recycled.
Definitely.
Will I be playing this song? I think so.
Oh yeah,
as a DJ. The only problem I have with it, and this is honestly a slight problem I have with BTS's Fire as well, is that it's a little heavy in its middle frequencies.
Oh.
So the that throughout the song is good, but it's a little hard to dance to unless you already know the choreography of this song. So will I be playing these songs in my sets? Yes, with an asterisk. So maybe not for the entire length of the song, because it's a little hard for people who don't know it.
That's true. Yeah, like this one's just
it's a banger, but not for all dancers.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to put it. On that note, because you touched upon it, did you have anything else to offer in terms of the song or the audio itself? Taking it from a K-pop DJ.
No, I mean, I liked it. It was cool. That was really my only critique with it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I also enjoyed it for sure. It was very easy the moment I heard the song for the first time, though, for me to instantly think like, oh, it's similar to Fire. But very quick right away. I mean, you hear the differences.
Well, yeah, of course. These are different songs.
Yeah.
But they were created to fill the same purpose.
Like, it has that synth-heavy hip-hop sound that is pretty much become BTS's signature with their banger tracks.
Yeah.
And then, again, shout out to Nick from The Biases. You're like my new best friend. Especially because
Nick.
Yes, I really like the perspective that Nick offers when he reviews like these K-pop singles. I really like what he said about the track overall.
We should have him on the show sometime.
Yeah, for sure. What he said about BTS is Not Today. Right from the gladiatorial fanfare that opens the track's Rockets instrumental, it's very obvious that the goal was to take the sledgehammer spirit that BTS brought in Fire and just blow it wide open for a rousing cinematic result. Even the verses with their syncopated, percolating bass barely take a moment to breathe. There's no subtlety here, but that's the point. And then by the time we enter the wind tunnel build of the pre-chorus, it is hard to not get caught up and whipped into the frenzy that the song intentionally cultivates. It's a rally cry from start to finish, less concerned with hooks or melody than it is with just sheer punches to the gut, or your ears for that matter. This approach blunts some of its charm when compared to the group's more versatile releases, but overall, as a pure maelstrom whirlwind tornado of energy, it is among BTS's stronger moments.
Okay. Between this and Fire, I think they're on par with each other.
Yeah.
One of them is lit, another is a call to action.
Yeah.
So I don't think one supersedes the other.
Definitely. They also have two different messages too. I mean, it can almost fall under the same kind of general I don't want to say umbrella term, but because Fire and Not Today both fall in with what BTS has kind of established for themselves with their other tracks like this, such as even earlier with songs like No More Dream or No, which is anti-establishment. Like Fire was pretty much all about just embracing your youth, burning everything off, like not worrying about your responsibilities, just be young, go out there, set the world on fire, take it over. Whereas
Dashy run. Yeah. They do a lot of running in this music video.
And then with Not Today, it's, as we've said, it's more of like a call to action. It's like, get this army together, mobilize. Like, you're not going to just sit by and not do anything. This is your chance to do something. Otherwise, you're going to see everything just fall apart.
Shall we go into final scores for these songs?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's go back to Spring Day.
Yes.
Audio Spring Day. Matt, I'll let you kick it off.
Audio-wise, I mean, as you said, I love the word that you came up for it, a beautiful melancholy.
Yeah.
And Spring Day is definitely going to be a track that I listen to. I don't know for how long, but it's just, it'll be there. I'm going to be listening to it a lot. And especially when I think of the video and overall as a package, I actually gave this a really, really solid 4.
Okay, that's exactly what I gave it.
Ha.
So for me, I think whereas for you, you might not listen to this one forever. Mm-hmm. This one, for me, there are songs you play, especially as a DJ. These are the songs of this season, right?
For sure.
You play those songs, you slam them out, and you exhaust them, and you move on to the next top 40. This is a song that you will hold on to, that you don't play in all circumstances, but you hold on to it and you listen to it for a very long time.
Absolutely.
If it could be art, you'd frame it on your wall, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, it's a 4 for me. So it was very good. And I don't even like this genre of music.
That's why I'm surprised. Like, not just the fact that you liked it, that you couldn't wait to review it, but then also hearing now your score. It's like, dang, like, who are you and what you do with Peter?
Well, yeah, okay. Concept, Matt.
So the concept is actually what really hooked me in. I mean, if it hasn't been made evident by now with everything that you and I have covered and everything else that everyone out there is praising this music video and song for.
Right.
Like, just it's hard to not appreciate, as we have covered, how artistically beautiful this whole thing is for Spring Day. The story they tell, all the references, just the layers upon layers that they put into this for the story and the journey that BTS takes us on. I actually gave it a 4.5 because it was it was beautiful to me.
Yeah. I will take it all the way. In the first time ever, possibly the last time, a solid 5.
Woo! We have our first ever 5 for Daebak or not.
Well, I do remember Angie gave 11 a 5, or I
true.
think one of our other ones a 5. But yeah, it's a 5. These aren't things that are given out lightly.
Mm-hmm.
These are moments of perfection.
Wow.
Like crystallized moments in time that, set the bar and inspire, everything else to follow.
Wow.
This is a disruption for the K-pop industry. I've tasted the forbidden fruit. Come on, K-pop. Let's see if you can step up to BTS. I want to see more of this. It's not a challenge that everyone can fulfill, but it's one worth pursuing.
Nice.
A 5.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So then I guess Daebak or not?
Daebak.
And of course, Daebak for me too.
Okay, so audio for Not Today.
Not Today being another signature style sound from BTS, what we've come to expect. I still enjoy it. I'll definitely be listening to this a lot. It's going to be one of my go-tos in the morning. It's a pump-up track. It's hype. It's lit. I don't know how else to put it. I gave the audio a 4 as well.
Okay. So as a DJ, every DJ kind of goes through this process.
Mm-hmm.
You create a playlist for yourself for what you're going to play that night.
Mm-hmm.
And you have several different buckets. There's a bucket for must plays tonight. That you are not doing your job unless you play this goddamn song tonight. This is one of those songs.
Okay, for sure.
Right? Is it that different from what we've seen from 24K, Monsta X, or other BTS songs? Not really. I like the stomping effects that they add into the song, but I think this is a case where I'm being influenced by BTS setting the bar too high for themselves, that it's affecting the way I look at everything else from them. I wonder if I had another group that did this, if I would rate them higher, maybe. But with BTS and their song Not Today, it's a 3.9.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just not quite a 4, but almost there.
No.
Because BTS has impressed you better before.
Maybe they've just set such a high precedent for themselves that I'm too used to expecting greatness.
Okay. In terms of concept, I wish that they gave us a little more. I mean, I get that the whole idea was probably more to rely on the choreography itself because it complements the message, as I said. But the fact that they threw in the little teases there of the story with everyone else getting shot and Jungkook surviving after they're running away, we don't know what firm or what towards. We're left with more questions than answers, even though I do like that sometimes, like question and thought-provoking. Like I said, I just wish they gave us a little more. So for the concept, I actually gave them a 3.75.
Okay. I like the original spirit of the song that's best conveyed, to your point, through the dance and through the lyrics and the song itself. But the concept, I think, was just a little weak in conveying that in its raw, visceral emotion. So I would give it 3.5.
Okay. So then, Daebak or not?
Oh, it's still Daebak, yeah.
All right, and likewise, Daebak for me as well.
Yeah. Okay.
BTS gave us a double shot. We just gave you a double shot review. It's a double Daebak.
Double
Easily.
Daebak, double shot, double Daebak.
Right?
Okay. I can see all the BTS armies rejoicing. We started this podcast out
Yes.
asking you, our listeners, is BTS demonstrating that K-pop can be art?
That's right.
I think we've had. And let me go through those 7 ways. Reason number 1. BTS has an ability to reference other artists and use that heritage from that other work of art to bring a fuller meaning to their own. Number 2. A very deliberate, thoughtful cinematography and composition for every scene in the entire thing. Every shot is composed with a very deliberate meaning and balance to convey a message.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we see that especially in Spring Day. Just like almost every single scene we can break down and derive meaning from. So
And nothing is by accident.
Absolutely.
3, and this is so obvious, pedestrianly obvious, but symbolism, metaphors, multidimensional messages, and meaning. Obviously, they're not beating it over the head, saying, I feel sad because my friend is gone. It's explaining that feeling to you in another way that is going to affect you more profoundly.
If you haven't already, go online, look at the lyrics to Spring Day, and even Not Today, and just analyze everything, and then watch the videos to see how it complements.
And I wouldn't recommend this for every K-pop music video.
Absolutely.
There is kitsch out there.
Mm-hmm.
This makes the case for art, and BTS is art.
Definitely.
Number 4, visual dynamics of the groups. No one person, as we often see in Western media, where you only have a single idol, and you're kind of just gazing at them for pretty or whatever they look. With this, you have group visual dynamics, which add to the message that they're trying to tell. And they use groups to do this. For a single person, they will add backup dancers to help embellish that message. And even with groups, they will add an entire ninja army to help get the message across. And number 5, communicating a message through dance. The dance itself is, of course, a meaning. You mentioned even Spring Day
Yep.
has choreography.
Yeah. Again, you watch BTS's live performances of it, and they have choreography, and it's more on the contemporary side. And contemporary in itself is all about that artistic expression, that healing, that expression of the soul.
Right. Now, another thing that we often see in major movements in art is that every movement is practically defined through a rebellion of the last. Reason number 6, initializing discourse on topics which are taboo. And I think we see that with Spring Day. We're talking about the Seawolf Ferry accident. We're talking about suicide.
Absolutely.
We're talking about the feelings that people probably feel and act or do not act upon.
Or people just aren't really willing to talk about it because they feel like it's a taboo subject.
Right.
And here's BTS throwing it in your face.
Right. And
Maybe not directly, but subtly as well.
Okay, and I think it's so funny, like in a lot of K-pop media, like, this music video has been banned. 18 million views. Like, you can still access it, right? This is clearly, you know, the legacy stakeholders trying to set the model for what we can or cannot say about, you know, the status quo. Art has the ability to compel and move people. And lastly, number 7, it is willing to make you feel uncomfortable to tell a message. And it's not making you feel uncomfortable just for the sake of feeling uncomfortable. It's doing this so it leaves a profound impact and moves you to action, or moves you to a new state.
Spring Day, for example, we could probably harp on it all day if we wanted to, but just the fact that you can't help but get that emotion or like get caught up in the story of what they're conveying to you. And even if that's not your cup of tea, you watch Not Today and you just get caught up in this rally. It's like, oh man, I feel like I need to rise up.
These are my 7 ways BTS shows K-pop is art. On the whole, I just want to say everything BTS is doing, they're more highbrow in the story and how they tell it. They create stuff that make you think. They introduce ethical moral dilemmas. They go beyond just fluffy choreo and visuals. They draw on emotions. They go beyond the commodity of aegyo. They grow and evolve. And this is a journey that we're going on with them.
And I'm glad to be part of the journey.
Does BTS show that K-pop can be art? Now's the time where you weigh in with your answer. So there's several ways to get in touch with us, right? Number 1, the hashtag Kpopcast. Just tweet out your thoughts. Let us know if you're wrong, what you thought with that hashtag. You can also reach us individually. Supermatic, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram, and you can also find me on my YouTube channel at Supermatic, which is SOUPERMATIC. Twitter's probably the best one, so just tweet at me, bro.
Yep, and I'm at DJ Peter Lowe. We're happy to hear your feedback. One last thing I want to conclude on.
Yes.
And this is something of an inside joke. Just putting it out there, I'm really proud of BTS. What they're accomplishing is so next level. I'm so excited for their future. And that's a meme from Jeff Benjamin.
Oh.
He tweeted that out, and now people are using it as a meme. So, for example, imagine a murderer comes to you and they ask you, any last words? And you just say, just putting it out there, I'm really proud of BTS. What they're accomplishing is their next level. I'm so excited for their future. So let's just end on a happy note. BTS, we're with you. We're out for the ride. And
absolutely.
Evangeline, we're covering more guy groups. Real talent, real meeting here. Last note, if you want to go on this BTS journey.
Oh, that's right.
We're giving away the album.
Yep.
It was pointed out to me in my short-sightedness that you cannot always link to the review that you leave on iTunes on Twitter.
Oh.
So if you want to fix that, just take a screenshot of your review and tweet it out with the hashtag Kpopcast. So again, leave a review on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Leave a review, take a screenshot, tweet it with hashtag Kpopcast. On March 8th, we will raffle all the submissions and pick a winner and mail you your own copy of BTS.
Yep. Their new album, Wings, You Never Walk Alone. You can win your very own copy.
Yeah. All right. Well, catch you guys later and stay tuned for the next episode.
Yeah. Thank you so much.